In this session, we're going to review what a work group does when they receive a bid request from the owner. They're going to do the work group estimate step in our workflow. We're on a work group's project manager's dashboard, and we can see they have a job that's been put out for bid. When we go to the Jobs tab, we see it in red, and it's red for one of two reasons, or potentially both. A, we've not answered the intent to bid, or B, the bid is due within the next 3 days. In this case, we have not answered the intent to bid, and it is also due within the next 3 days. So it's going to be red. If we click on the date, we get a dialog box where we can respond to whether we are going to bid or not. If we select no, the owner will be so informed, and this job will be removed from this work group's dashboards. If we select yes, then we're ready to go begin our review of the job. We also know we do have a pre-bid meeting scheduled for this job. We go into the design. We're presented with the owner's design. We have the same hours factor, but the work group's global factor defaults to 100%. It does not change. Also, if the owner had set any of the location factors to anything but 1, they are defaulted into the work group as Unity as 1. So they don't come along here. So what our estimator is going to do is he's going to compare this takeoff with the design documentation that he received. I'm going to go through and validate it, and then we'll go through our factoring, and then we'll go through a field review. So in going through the review, the first thing that they note is that this concrete backfill for a 4-inch diameter drilling is only 1 foot, when it should clearly be 15 feet. So they make that update, and this value updates to indicate that it's been changed. And they continue through looking at the design, validating it. And here's that same error a second time. And we can come through. Now the owner has provided some basic elements here that the work group may or may not get on a continuous basis from an owner, and may need to add these. But for this particular work group, this is an opportune job for them. They are at that location now, and so they would not need to mobilize if they were given this job. They can reduce their price accordingly. Demobilization, they are making a business decision that they also want to reduce that. The matting seems reasonable. Miscellaneous dollars are reasonable. And safety, they've been having some safety issues and they want to increase that just a little bit. So the work group goes through and makes the changes they need to make sure that the scope is accurate based on the design drawings that are provided. Next, the estimator is going to go through and take a look at his factoring. 60 hours is appropriate, global factor, in the estimator's opinion, this is sufficient, and he needs to do no further factoring. I'll go ahead and update our estimate, make sure the changes that we have put into effect have been recalculated. And the next desired step is that we go ahead and generate a takeoff report that will be provided to field supervision. Field supervision will be asked to go take a look at the job, specifically validating the hours. oftentimes the field work group personnel are not real familiar with all these units, but what they are very proficient at is looking at the overall hours. So ostensibly what we've got them doing here is a mini bid or mini takeoff on each location, which allows them to get quite accurate. And as they're going through this, they'll make comments whether these hours are sufficient or not. And in doing so, they'll provide feedback to the estimator, and the estimator will revalidate, is there something that's been missed here? Is there something here that doesn't need to be here? Or is this just a difficult location and it needs to be factored? So if we come back to this location 125-1, the work group feels that that's low by about 10%. We can come over here and the work group can factor that location. We'll go ahead and update our estimate. And at that point, we have what we feel is a good price, and we're going to go to our pricing tab. Here you can see our mobilization went to 0 because we zeroed that out, and we have the rest of our pricing. We could go through and make some final adjustments here as the work group sees fit, and get these adjustments made so that we can get this into our management's review and approval process. So at this point, we say we're happy with this, and we're going to lock down these values and lock all. We'll update our estimate one last time for those modifications we made, and at this point, we're ready to go ahead and submit this for internal review. So submit our design. And then our next step would be to run our reports and make sure these reports are made available to our management for review. And this is what we'll pick up in our next session.